So our webinar for today is secure data storage and backup for privacy-sensitive organizations. Presented by me, Adrian. I'm a product specialist here at Synology UK. So the agenda for today is we'll be understanding these focuses as if we're part of a highly regulated field like defense or government. Therefore, we'll be understanding these various sort of security challenges when it comes to housing a sensitive data, both in file server as well as a backup environment. We'll also be running through some more secure backup strategies with further granular settings, whilst also ensuring we're compliant with key bodies. And lastly, just a quick rundown on how to safeguard your data physically on premise. So, jumping straight in, there are many challenges in the defense field when looking to store sensitive data. However, I've boiled it down to the most costly of the challenges. So these are the three things that we would need to address. Firstly, obviously, the obvious threat of ransomware and tampering. Secondly, we've created a secure site. How do we then roll out so that we have the same security as we expand to more sites? And lastly, how do I ensure I'm meeting auditing standards for the movement and housing of my sensitive information? How do I know if the system I'm using is compliant with key regulatory bodies? So starting with the first one, how do you prevent someone from tampering with your data? Well, this is where our write once, read many folder creation comes in. So this essentially enables sysadmins to create shared folders with data immutability, which in turn prevents any modifications or deletions, providing secure and immutable storage for important data. We have two modes, compliance and enterprise mode. Compliance mode strictly adheres to the worm protocol, whereas with enterprise, we have a little bit of wiggle room. As you can see here, these are the key differences between enterprise and compliance. And again, for both, once a file is locked in the immutable state, both adhere to the worm protocol, meaning it can't be deleted. However, in enterprise mode, you will be able to delete the entire shared folder or even the volume or the storage pool that contains this shared folder. Whereas in compliance mode, you won't be able to do that at all. The only way to remove data that's in an immutable in a worm folder in compliance mode will be to remove the drives and wipe them. There is no way on the system to remove data that's in the compliance mode. So we have created a secure house for our data. How would we be able to ensure that the same security privileges that we've put in place in one site is also observed in another site? So essentially, how do we scale out this solution? Well, this is where our central management system application comes in, CMS. In a nutshell, CMS is exactly that. It's a central management system. It allows users to handle multiple Synology NAS systems effectively and conveniently by providing a single interface for setting up and monitoring those multiple servers. Just a couple things that CMS can do is we can group servers for more efficiency when we're installing DSM or Synology applications, as well as run custom scripts with for anything further, more granular that you're looking into. So how does CMS help with if you're a sysadmin in a highly privatized field? Well, simply put, we can save time, manpower, and resources simply by using CMS. So we've set up our initial server, our headquarters server, and rather than sending out the sysadmin who did that to the new site, we can just run it all using CMS and set up the new site remotely, meaning that you don't have to go yourself. You also don't have to train up a new person so that they can then go themselves and handle it. You can just do it all yourself from one point. Finally, we have our data secured. We've also been able to scale it out. However, due to the highly sensitive nature of the data, any interactions with the data needs to be logged and managed. How would an auditor be able to view this data? Furthermore, how can you guarantee the environment you have set up is following key regulatory authorities? Firstly, for log management, we have the Log Center application. Any interactions with your data, you will be able to find logs of it. It's just that simple. The three main areas an auditor would look to for as a bare minimum is the event, so what happened to the data, who did what to the data, so the user that was involved, and finally the time that it took place. This is a single point of contact for all of the logs that you're managing, and this doesn't just include the Synology system that you have in place, but also multiple servers that you would add using CMS. But more on that later on. Now, in the defense field, I'm sure you're aware that it's highly regulated. There are many legislation and authorities that govern the safety of sensitive data. And security is critical to us too. In fact, it is a first for us. We can safely collaborate with third-party researchers in forums like FIRST to identify and resolve unknown security vulnerabilities and ensure transparency and trust with stakeholders, as well as our PSERT team and our bug bounty program to further secure your systems and therefore yourselves. We're also both NDAA and TAA compliant. Now, NDAA compliant means that we can assure you that our products do not contain components from banned Chinese manufacturers like Huawei or ZTE. TAA compliance, simply put, is proves Taiwan as an approved country. Therefore, manufacturing our products there, we can sell via GSA contracts. This allows us to interact in highly regulated verticals like government and defense. All in all, we provide trusted, compliant storage solutions for government and enterprise need by ensuring security, reliability, and federal contract eligibility. Now, to ensure we are using a secure system, whenever we develop software, we ensure that we are following the secure software development framework created by NIST. Once a product is launched through, our Product Security Incident Response Team, PISA, practices the secure development lifecycle guided by NIST. Simply put, we fix vulnerabilities incredibly fast and ensure secure software development. So just a quick rundown of our practices which follow NIST's guidelines. In the design phase, the team reviews security infrastructure to identify and prioritize risks, as well as employing the principle of least privilege, meaning users and processes have the least access needed to perform their task. Stage, we screen out vulnerabilities early using internal hackers, red teaming to simulate attacks, all done before launch. Verification, our team tests code in a production-like environment, penetration testing to find weaknesses, automated vulnerability scanning to identify and fix any security flaws. And lastly, our release. So officially released, our dedicated PSERT monitor, track, and database any further vulnerabilities. One of the best examples as to why we strictly follow these guidelines is the Samba Cry vulnerability identified in 2017. Shockingly, IBM took around a week to address this issue. Cisco took around 2 months. We found the risk in 8 hours and had a fix in 15 hours, showing our continued commitment to security. Like I said, security first. Furthermore, we also implement a bug bounty program to enhance the security of our products. We encourage external security researchers and ethical hackers to find and report vulnerabilities. When these experts discover a security flaw and report it back to us, they receive a bounty for their efforts. This helps us identify and fix issues more quickly, ensuring that products remain secure and reliable for all users. And the rewards can go up to $30,000. In summary, from development to applied software, securing your data down to the studs is incredibly important to us. I have shown once I've shown you how your data will be housed in a Synology environment and how you can secure it further. Also, how we ensure we meet regulatory compliance, and lastly, how we seek out any vulnerabilities through our product's lifetime by implementing PSERT and our bug bounty program. Now, the defense sector, whether it be from internal processes or legislation, they need to follow or they need to ensure that they have secure backup environment in place. This is where our Active Protect appliance comes in. Simply put, these units combine backup software, storage, and computing in one machine. And hosting a new operating system specifically designed for data protection, Active Protect Manager, we provide a complete protection through the entire data protection lifecycle. Our design allows all backup settings to be managed through a single system applicable to multiple devices across platform. This simplifies enterprise backup management for any number of devices. Just like CMS, ActiveProtect manages new cluster design can assign an appliance as the management server in the same way that we did with CMS before, where we have the host CMS server and then you add servers to it. We are saving time, company time, manpower, employees time, pretty much saving you money by creating this comprehensive backup in an immutable state for all from one point of entry. Furthermore, for added redundancy, you can also add one of these servers as a failover server so that if anything physically happens to the management server, the failover server will take over. This doesn't just apply to active backup appliances or active backup environments, active protect environments only. If you have a pre-existing Synology backup infrastructure, you can still manage them using Active Protect Management Server. This is ideal for if you want to continue using those Synology NASs as a backup environment, or if you want to repurpose them, and then you can still slowly shift out as you add Active Protect appliances in. Lastly, and probably the most important, what happens when disaster strikes and you need to recover from your backup? Active Protect provides a variety of recovery capabilities, including archive-level recovery, or physical to virtual, or even instant recovery of VMs to its hypervisor, virtual to virtual. In summary, using Active Protect, you can manage backup settings across platforms, simplifying enterprise backups for any number of devices with a unified solution for recovery and management, creating an ideal backup environment. So, you've secured your data and backups, but how do you ensure that you and your data are secure physically? Everything we have seen so far has been applications, as well as the hardware that exists. The system could be compromised physically. So this is where Surveillance Station comes in, or Synology Surveillance Station, which again we've employed in the surveillance industry for 15 years. When it comes to physical security, there are three main aspects that we need to address. First of all, how do you manage multiple cameras or multiple sites in an easy-to-use framework? Well, with that, for that, we would use the Surveillance CMS, the Centralized Management System. With a single portal, you can access and manage servers from up to 1,000 locations and view footage from up to 10,000 cameras simultaneously. So multiple Synology NASs can all be managed by one, and multiple cameras being managed by those Synology NASs can be managed in the CMS. Whether it's for future maintenance settings or remote updates, everything can be easily handled. In future, if your site expands, you can seamlessly integrate new servers into the existing deployment structure, allowing Synology to grow with you. Secondly, what if you already have a surveillance structure set up? What if you already have cameras set up? How do you integrate non-Synology cameras into a Synology environment? Well, for that, we do offer our own cameras, yes, but we also support over 8,600 third-party cameras, as well as various protocols, including on-VIF profile, RTSP, and SRTP. For video streaming, we also provide support for the RTMP protocol, which is useful for devices without a fixed IP or an unstable network environment, like drones. However, if you are wanting to refresh your current surveillance or implement a new system altogether, Synology cameras are comprehensive and capable of meeting any surveillance need that you might have. Currently, we have our fixed focal bullet camera and our turret camera available now, with our varifocal bullet and our fisheye camera coming out soon. As mentioned previously, the cameras that we have out for purchase are also compliant in both NDAA and TAA. So once you have a surveillance station set up, you can view your feeds. Some of the common but most effective features that you can access is people and vehicle detection, intruder detection, and crowd detection. Now, if you had footage but wanted more granular analysis, this is where the implementation of our deep video analytic NAS will come in. With the DVA, you can add database of employee faces as well as license plates, and then monitor them all in your system and run facial and license plate recognition. As well as people counting, if you're using Synology camera, you can also access additional features like auto tracking and instant search. Finally, how secure is the solution? Simply put, this is a solution you house internally. The surveillance is run completely to your spec. You have complete control, which means that you can set individual permissions for employees, such as IT managers can control the entire surveillance server, so you as a sysadmin, IT staff can view and download video footage, and finally, security personnel can only view live images and cannot download video footage. Additionally, we offer time-based customization to further regulate access, such as granting permissions only during working hours, to ensure security becomes an impregnable backbone for your site. So let's put everything that we talked about into practice. So for this scenario, we'll be using you're a defense contractor. You deal with very sensitive information. You are managing multiple sites, and you've been tasked with creating a cost-effective multi-site deployment that will keep the sensitive data secure. Now, we have already set up a HQ NAS. So if I just show that, actually, let's see if we can. And that. Hopefully everyone can see that. Everything's going well. This is our HQ NAS. This will be our host, which is essentially our template for other sites. So firstly, how do we ensure that the data is secure? Well, for this, we've created a worm folder. And you can see here in our folder creations. It's called Defense Secrets, and you know it's a worm folder because it has the write once tag next to it. Now, as soon as we go into the worm folder, you can see that the data is in a locked immutable state, meaning even me as the admin, I will not be able to delete this data. So it's all grayed out, meaning I cannot do it. But that's the admin. What if a user tried to delete this data? Oh. Click. Oh. That there. So this user has access to the Defense HQ Synology NAS, but they are limited. They are not a full admin, and they can only access File Station and the Defense Secret folder. You can see here that they can view these files, but they also cannot delete them. Now, if we were to upload our own file, Defense Reports, and we'll put Vigo Dispatch in there, you can see that right now it is in an open state, meaning at this moment in time, we can absolutely delete it. We can get rid of it completely. But as soon as we refresh, it becomes locked immediately. Locked immediately. Now back at HQ, we now know that the data that we're housing is secure. We know that it works and that users underneath it will have the permissions that we provide them. But how do we then roll this out to new sites? How do we ensure that we pick the simplest, most effective solution in growing our sites? Well, that's where central management system would come in. So here you can see that we have two servers already joined to this system, Defense 2 and Defense 3. One of the key USPs for central management system is that we can create groups for these. Now, let's say both these servers are in different sites. One's in the helicopter site, one's in the field site. But let's say we had multiple NASs in each site. Rather than going through each server individually and setting up policies and rules for them, you could run it all via the groups. And I'll showcase what I mean by that. So we want to create a policy for installing Synology chat and a power schedule for all of the servers out there right now. For that, I want to set up power schedule. So we were going to install Synology chat and power down on the weekends. So here on these rules, we have a lot of the most common ones. We can set up DSM updates, file services, ensure that it's SMB. Finally, but for the scenario, we want to install chat. So enable this rule. For anything more specific or anything that you don't see here, you can run custom scripts. Downloads, select, also a power schedule. Create shutdown on weekends. Perfect. And here we can either apply to a group or to a specific server. Now we want to apply to all servers, but we can also, go through and pick each one. And it's as simple as that. And like I said before, for any custom tasks, we have a script management system where you just import scripts in and you can run more granular specialized tasks for your CMS. Now, now we've run a lot of events so far. So HQ, what if HQ was to get internally or externally audited? How would you show all of these events that affect your sensitive data? Now, by your sensitive data, I mean your defense secrets. So if we go to our defense secrets, you can see that WIC added in a new document into this into our defense secrets, as well as we tried to delete, we tried to move. If an auditor comes in and they need to see what happened with this data, how would they do that? Well, quite simply, we would use Log Center. Go into logs, and from here, if we go to file transfer, you can see that we initially uploaded a file previously, but Wick here, he uploaded a file into Defense Secrets Vigo dispatch report. And from here, we can see the time it took place, the user who did it, and what the event was. And again, these are the three key things that an auditor would look for. But let's say it's not an external auditor. Let's say we're at Defense 2, we're at the second site, and someone is deleting things that essentially they have access to delete. There's a lot of people that have access to delete. How do you ensure that you could find them? Now, obviously, there's a log center available in the admin portal of Defense 2, but what if you just wanted to run it all from headquarters? Well, just to show an example of that, let's go ahead and do some modifications. If I go, yeah, and Santino. Oh. So they have access to file station. They have they're uploading, let's say they're uploading the wrong files in, but then they're also deleting files. Basically just doing things you don't want them to do. Now, this would all be logged into Defense Site 2, but by sending logs through from Defense Site 2, we'll be able to view them in the log center in Defense headquarters. Logs here, other servers, file transfer. We can see that Santino uploaded 2 files and then also deleted a file. And again, hitting the main things here, which is where it happened from, the time it happened, the user, and the event. So essentially, from this point, what we've shown is how we secure our data, how we ensure that you have a track of everything that's happening to that data, and as well as how you can scale this solution out to multiple sites. Now, before we did talk about our Active Protect appliances. So if we were to back up the data from our defense headquarters into an Active Protect appliance, well, that is it's easily done as well. The first thing we've run through, I've done a lot of the admin already. So essentially, we've created a protection plan, defense for a mutable backup for Defense HQ. I've enabled immutable protection for this. Adding a Synology NAS is as simple as going to a file server, adding Synology NAS. From there, we add our account. Oh, and this one. Oh. Go. So, and we want to back up our defense secrets. Now, defense secrets is already in a worm folder. We want to then further make a backup of it that's also immutable. And here are all the protection plans that we have. These aren't immutable. This one is. And we can back up now. And you can see here that in pretty much anything that involves an admin level access, you will have logs to it. So that includes our Active Protect manager. You will have logs as to what is happening with it currently. And again, shows you the time, date, and the person doing it. System is us. And that's, yep. Perfect. So now if we go back to our presentation. Yep. However, we're not stopping there. We have a continued effort towards the defense sector as well as security. Like I said, security first. We're investing into the defense sector by providing our staff with additional training so they can get security certified in baseline personnel security standards, as well as defective media retention. Now, if you have a requirement for DMR, please do let me know. I'm more than happy to talk about this further after the webinar. Furthermore, we work with some defense partners as well. So if you are currently looking for a defense solution and you would like us to work on it and then a reseller to work on it alongside it, these are just some of the people that we can that you can work with us. And there's more on our where to buy page as well. So in summary, we've shown how to protect your data by setting up worm folders, as well as centralizing all your log using Log Center. How to set up backups, both the backups in a Synology NAS system normally, as well as the Active Protect series, and manage those backups all through one. And then lastly, how to secure your site physically. So setting up Synology cameras, implementing surveillance station, as well as how granular permission settings come through.